Hey folks, Bill Armstrong here. In this screencast, I'm going to highlight all the important features here at my math lab where all the course content is being housed. So first off, let me just say right now I'm in an instructor view. So over here in the left-hand frame, you might not see some of this stuff. Don't worry about it. I don't have it open yet. I don't have it populated for you. So this would be like the home page. And the first thing I'm going to address over here in the left-hand frame is the course information tab. So let me go ahead and click on that. And there's some important items in here that I'm going to want you to print out and have a hard copy on hand. So in here we will see there's the online orientation, the course syllabus, which seems to have something important in it, the academic calendar, the protocol for sending email, a list of all the end of section homework practice exercises, and the answers to those exercises. So I'm going to start off by clicking on and looking at the syllabus. Again, this is something I'd like you to print out and have a hard copy on hand. This is if this were a traditional course, I would pass something similar to this out the first day. So it's a PDF. So, PDF, you can come over here and click to print it. So let's get started going through the syllabus. My name's Bill Armstrong. That is my email address. Please use this email address to send me an email. If you don't use the right email address, I obviously will not get the email. So a very good reason to print this out and have a hard copy on hand is so you always know what my email address is. My office is in B3056. There's my office telephone number. And those are my office hours, so you can stop by anytime you want during my office hours. Prereq is Math 1650. Let's see, you should have a graphing calculator. Let's go over the grading structure of the course. Now, your grade will be determined by the cumulative point total of a possible 600 points. And I'm going to kind of go through and show you how these 600 points are comprised. A rough overview of these 600 points, they come from tests, the final exam, and online quizzes. That's it. So tests, there will be a total of 3 tests worth 120 points each. Per the Lakeland Math Department policy, all tests must be taken in a proctored environment. The vast majority of you will be taking it in the Lakeland Testing Center. Tests can be completed any day the testing center is open, up to and including the deadline dates. And all deadline dates will be shown on the academic calendar. We'll look at the academic calendar here in a moment. Test questions are going to be, free response, very similar to what you see in homework and online quizzes. So here in Table 1, I have the test coverage. So you can see Test 1 covers the assigned sections from weeks 1 through 3, which would be sections 1.1 through 1.6. Likewise, you can see for Test 2, Test 3, and the final exam. Some test notes. When you show up to take your test, you must have a photo ID. Please take your test in pencil, and by all means, bring your graphing calculator. Notes, textbooks, cheat sheets, formula cards, etc. Those will all be prohibited during the tests. Deadline dates for each test will be in the academic calendar. I'm also going to put them in the weekly announcements. We'll talk about weekly announcements here in a little bit. There are the hours for the testing center at Lakeland. In short, it's Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They are closed on Sunday. And, I'll let you read through the online quizzes and testing policy, so please read through those. And now let's talk about the online quizzes. There are going to be 12 weekly online quizzes, and these are done online at the My Math Lab site, and I'll show you where you can find those here in a minute. They're in the online quiz area. Online quizzes will total a total of 120 points. So there are 12 of them. Each of them are worth 10 points. Now, each online quiz will be due on the Sunday that it is assigned at 11:55 p.m. You can take them on Friday or Saturday. You don't have to wait till Sunday to take them. An online quiz must be completed in one session. In other words, if you start an online quiz, you must complete it once you start it. There's no time limit for online quizzes. You will have a maximum of 2 attempts for each online quiz. And then the final exam, there will be a 120-point final exam to conclude the course. The deadline for the final exam will be on the academic calendar. So you can see in Table 2, the point distribution. You have 3 tests at 120 points each, 12 quizzes at 10 points each. The final exam's 120 points, and that's 600 points total. So that's what determines your grade. Those are the only things that are determining your grade. Homework is not submitted. Homework does not count towards your final grade. Directly, it doesn't count. It will indirectly. In order to do well on the online quizzes, you need to do the homework. See, the homework will prepare you for the online quizzes, which in turn prepare you for the tests. In Table 3, you see the percentages, the breakdown I used to determine the final grade that you will earn. I'll let you read through on your own about when it comes to assigning course grades, as well as academic misconduct. Some general course tips. Again, the homework practice exercises are not collected. However, the tests, quizzes, and final exam will have problems similar to those that are assigned. So really doing the section by section homework to practice exercises is probably the single most important vital element for your success in the course. Keep up with the assigned sections and the associated exercises. Don't let it build up. Don't wait until Sunday to try to do all the sections that you should have been working on during the week. Try to do something every day. If you have a math-related question, don't hesitate to stop by my office during office hours or send me an email. Again, there's my email address. Now, before sending an email, make sure you read the protocol for sending email that's in the course information area. We'll go over that here in a minute as well. To keep in mind, an online course is a self-directed course. So if you don't have the time, proficiency, or inclination to learn the material in a self-motivated style, you might be better off taking the traditional in-class course. Okay, now I've been doing online math courses for over 10 years now, and I've developed what I call my 4-step cycle of learning. So I'm going to run you through this on how you should approach the material, how you should attack this. So step 1, you'll begin each section by logging into the MyMathLab site and going to the assigned chapter and section, and you'll read through the e-text for the assigned section. Now, while you're reading through the e-text, you're going to see links to helpful videos and animations done by the author of the book. His name's Kirk Trigstead. Watching these animations and videos, they can help you with the practice exercises and the homework. For many sections, I will supply a YouTube video reinforcing the concepts, ideas, and maybe doing extra examples in that section. Okay, step 2 is, while you're reading the assigned section in the e-text, after some examples, you're going to see you try it practice problems. So if you see these you try it, you might want to think about doing them, because those you try it exercises are meant to allow you to practice the ideas that were just presented in the reading and the example. Now again, these exercises do not count directly for a grade, but they're going to be matched with some of the assigned end of section practice exercises, and that helps prepare you for the online quizzes, which do count for a grade, and the tests, which do count for a grade. Okay, step 3 in my 4-step cycle of learning is you do the end of section practice exercises. Again, these exercises do not count for a grade directly, but they will reinforce the ideas and concepts presented in the section, which helps prepare you for the quizzes and the tests. And then after you've done that for all the sections for a week, you'll go to the online quiz tab and do the quiz. Quizzes do count for a grade. Okay, finally here we have the acknowledgement of the syllabus statement. I don't know what more I could say about this. And I'll let you read that on your own, this last part. So that's it for the syllabus. So let me close it out. Again, make sure you print out and have on hand a hard copy of the syllabus. Point that out one more time. Next, let's look at the academic calendar. Okay, the academic calendar, it too is a PDF, so you should print this out and have a hard copy of this on hand. This shows you on a week-by-week basis what sections are being covered, and it also shows deadlines. So for example, week 1, sections 1.1 and 1.2 are being covered. And it says the deadline to complete quiz 1 is 11:55 p.m. on Sunday, September 1st. Note that the deadline to complete test 1 is Saturday, September 21st. The deadline to complete test 2 is Saturday, October 19th. Test 3 has a deadline of Saturday, November 16th. And the final exam, the deadline to do the final exam is Wednesday, December 11th. And you'll also notice that I've shown here a little table for each quiz, what the assigned sections for the quiz happens to be, and for each test, which sections will be on the test, as well as the final exam. So that's kind of redundant. You would have seen this in the syllabus. But again, print this out, have a hard copy of the academic calendar on hand. That way you will know all deadline dates. So let me close the academic calendar. Next up, let's look at the online orientation. So let me click on that. Notice in the online orientation, I start off by saying, hey, here are some documents to have in hand. That means these are documents you should be having a hard copy of. You should print. That would be the course syllabus, the academic calendar, the homework to practice exercises, and the protocol for sending email. Keeping up to date, well, on a weekly basis in the announcements area, I will be posting a weekly announcement. And in the weekly announcement, you will see reminders on what the weekly section coverage is, the homework, reminders of any due dates. So we'll talk about the announcements here in a minute. I will show you where to find those. I do post the announcements early on Sunday morning for the subsequent week. So if you run into some difficulties in trigonometry, how do you get help? Well, the primary way to get help is through me, either coming by my office or sending me an email. Again, there's my email address. If you're wondering why I keep pointing this out and why I keep highlighting it, it's because sometimes people don't use the correct email address. I will reply to email in a very quick fashion. We'll discuss that here in a little bit. So if you send me an email and I have not replied to your email, say 24 or 2 days, within 24 hours or 2 days, you probably used the wrong email address. You can also get help in the Math in Minutes table, and you can sign up for tutoring in the Tutor Center. You can get each week have a personal tutor at no cost. Here's some information about the tests. I'll let you read through that on your own. I will point out something I'll show you here in a little bit is during the week of an exam, I'm gonna make available here at the My Math Lab site what I call a test preparation tab, and in it you will find a study guide, a practice test, answers to the practice test, and a link to a YouTube video I made showing worked out solutions to most items on the practice test. I'll let you read through the rest here. And online quizzes. Well, I've gone over that already. So I'm going to close out your online orientation. And next up, let's look at this protocol for sending email document. Okay, so notice the first thing that I mention here is my email address. This is at least the fourth time I've pointed out what my email address is. So yes, use the correct email address. I do ask that when you send me an email, if you could, please use your Lakeland email account. It helps save me some time. You know, when I see in my inbox, and I receive a lot of email, if I see something that is from, say, sleekdime@gmail.com, and that's your personal email account, I may not know you're one of my students immediately. But when I do see it's, a Lakeland email, it jumps out at me a little bit more. Please identify yourself at the beginning of the email. So, for example, you could start your email with a sentence such as, I am June Johnson, and I am a student in your Math 1700 Trigonometry online course. That just helps save me some time. I would greatly appreciate that. Allow time for a reply. Folks, I will respond to email each day. You send me an email, I will respond to it. Sometimes I respond to your email within 10 minutes of you sending it to me, if I happen to be online at that time. But I will reply to your email. If you do not get an email response, an email reply from me within 24 hours, it usually means you send it to the wrong email address. Send it to the correct email address. If you send it late at night or on a weekend, you may not get an immediate response, but you will get a response the next day at the latest. So sending multiple repeated messages does not help. Once I see an email from you, I will reply to it. I'll let you read through the rest of these, like be cognizant of your writing tone, use complete words and sentences. State your question clearly and completely. So if you have a specific question about a homework item, just identify it for me. Such as, exercise 49 on EText screen 1.6-25. If you can identify the exercise EText screen and what your question is, that could really, really help me in trying to help you. And yeah, it's been an ongoing challenge for over 25 years how to effectively communicate mathematics on the internet, particularly in email. But, I've, over the last 25 years, we've seemed to always work something out, my students and me, when communicating math via email. So that's the protocol for sending email. Again, print this out, have a hard copy on hand. The next thing we'll look at here in the course information area is the list of homework to practice exercises. Again, it's a PDF, print it out, have a hard copy on hand. These are the exercises that you should do to try to master the concepts. So for example, I'm saying in section 1.1, the homework starts on EText screen 1.1-25, and I'd like you to do numbers 1 through 35 odd. That should give you enough practice to prepare you for the online quizzes and the test. So print this out, have a hard copy on hand. It shows section by section what homework you should be doing. Okay, the one item in the course information page that I haven't stressed printing out and have a hard copy on hand is the last item, the EText homework to practice exercise the answers. And here's why. Let me click on it. This is a pretty big PDF. It's taking a while to load everything. It's 36 pages in length. So if I were a student in this class, when I'm doing the homework, I would just open this, and it opens in a separate tab, so that when I'm doing the homework, I could just quickly click over to the tab to see if I got the homework problem correct. Please notice that it does have answers for every exercise, odd as well as even. So let me close that. So that's everything in your course information tab. Again, print out and have a hard copy of the course syllabus. One more time, something really important there in the syllabus. Print out and have a hard copy of the academic calendar. That shows section coverage on a weekly basis as well as all due dates for quizzes and tests. Print out and have a hard copy of the protocol for sending email. And print out and have a hard copy of all the end of section homework problems you should be doing. All right, the next thing we're going to look at over here in the left frame, let's look at the announcements. So you click on the announcements area. This is where you'll find the weekly announcements. You probably don't see this. Don't worry about it. I haven't opened them for you yet. But I do have the week 1 announcements already open. And as I said, early every Sunday morning, I'm going to post a weekly announcement for the upcoming week. So let me just go ahead and click on the week 1 announcements. Okay, these two are PDFs. If you prefer to print them out and have a hard copy, you can. But I started off the week 1 announcements with just a friendly little welcome and a little reminder of items that you should print out and have a hard copy of. And another friendly reminder of something that you will find in the syllabus. Okay, now most weekly announcements are going to begin like right here where I define the week 1 announcements, and then I define what the week is. So week 1 is defined to go from Monday, August 26th to Sunday, September 1st. And then I have a reminder of the sections that are covered and a reminder of the exercises in each section that you should do, and on what EText screen the exercises begin. I tell you about the online quiz that's due and the due date for the online quiz. And I remind you that once you start a quiz, it has to be completed. There's no time limit to do the quiz. And remember, each quiz can be repeated up to 2 times. So that's a weekly announcement. I want to go ahead and show you, week 5. Yeah, this is when I start to supply in Chapter 2 some section-by-section videos. Follow my directions here. These are section-by-section supplemental videos. And I strongly suggest you watch it in full screen mode. Make sure your YouTube settings are in HD mode. So right-click on the link and open in a new tab. So let me do that here. So I right-click, open in a new tab. And hey folks, Bill Armstrong here. Thought I'd put together a video for the beginnings of the next material. That's enough of me. But I will put links for any videos that I make on a section-by-section basis. The links to the videos will appear in the weekly announcements. So let me come back to the main menu. So I've shown you where you'll find your weekly announcements. We've looked at the course information tab, everything that's in there. Let me skip over that for the time being. Quizzes. Here's where you'll find your online quizzes. And notice it also tells you the due dates over here in the left-hand column of the online quizzes. So when you're ready to do a quiz, this is where you'll come. You'll click on Online Quiz, and then you'll click on Online Quiz 1 when you're ready to take it, and away you go. Okay, next up, the Gradebook. Folks, you will always know where you stand in this class. As soon as you complete an online quiz, your score will be recorded in the Gradebook. When you take a test, once I grade the test, I record your test score here in the Gradebook. So you can always know your grade. You will always know what your percentage is in this class. So please be aware that you have complete control on knowing exactly where you stand in the class. Hey, let's go ahead and I have Test 1 Preparation tab open and ready for you. I wanted to show you items that you would find in there. So I will do this for each test and the final exam. You will find a study guide, a practice test, and practice test solutions. So if you look at the study guide, I'm saying, hey, for each of these sections, for each of the exercises that begin on these EText screens, these are the exercises and information you should know how to do in order to be prepared for the test. So if it were me, I would do all the exercises listed here on the study guide. And once I feel good, once I've done them all and I feel like I understand what's happening, then I would print out the practice test. And so I would print out this practice test and I would take the practice test as if it were a real test. In other words, I wouldn't look at the book or any of my notes or any homework. I would just try to do the test. If there are any items that I get stuck on while I'm trying to do the test, say I get stuck on number 3, that would tell me number 3 is something I need to study just a little bit more. And so, print this out, and I'm going to close it. And then if you want to see, the answers, well, I have solutions to most items on the practice test. So, you could, click on it.
Hey folks, Bill Armstrong here. I thought we'd go through the practice.
Okay, that's enough of that. So that's what I'll supply for each test for you. So the only thing we haven't looked at over here is your eText. So let me go ahead and click on the eText and click on the eText. It might take a little bit of time to open the eText. Okay, the first thing I'm going to highlight for you here in the eText is right here. This is the menu that you would click on to open the menu to show you the different chapters. So, say you wanted to go to section 1.4, you would expand chapter 1, and you come down here and click on 1.4. I'm just going to highlight some features starting here in chapter 1, section 1.1. So notice this box right here tells me that I'm currently in the eText screen 1.1-1. So let me just kind of click through a little bit. So this is the reading you would do. It's just like a typical textbook. You could read it. You'd be reading this. Reading about understanding degree measure. Or reading about different angles. Different angle measurements. Okay, here's example 1. And example 1, you can read the directions, sketch these angles, and it shows the answers. And then if you want, you can watch a video. So let me go ahead and show you this.
In this video, we're going to draw angles given in degree measure. Draw
that's
each
the
angle
author
in
of the
standard
book.
Position and state the quadrant in which the terminal side of the angle lies, or the axis on which the terminal side of the angle lies. Let's go ahead and start by trying to sketch the angle 60 degrees.
All right. That's enough of that. And then I come here to close it. So I close the video and I'm back in the eText now. So almost every example has a video. And I referenced these earlier. So I'm still just kind of clicking through the eText. Here on eText screen 1.1-12, notice after example 2, here's those you try it exercises that I mentioned in talking about my 4-step cycle of learning. So let me just go ahead and click on the you try it exercises. So you can see this example, finding the least non-negative measure of an angle that's coterminal with theta equals negative 697 degrees. So if I click on the you try it, notice find the angle of least non-negative measure that is coterminal with theta equals negative 715 degrees. So this is immediately reinforcing what you just saw in that example, in the reading before that example. So that's the you try it. Here on 1.1-13, this is going to tell you that this video is like an animation. So let me show you what that would be. Let me come down here and click play.
A circle centered at the origin with a radius of length r units has the equation x squared plus y squared equals r squared. An angle whose vertex is at the center of a circle is called a central angle. Every central angle intercepts a portion of the...
All right, so that's just an example of what an animation would look like. All of these things are nicely embedded in the eText. So I come over here to close that animation, get me right back into the eText. And then I want to get to the exercises. So the exercises started on eText screen 1.1-25. I can come up here to this box, and to quickly jump, rather than going page by page, I can enter the 25, hit enter, and it will take me right to eText screen 1.1-25. And this is where the exercises would start. I think I wanted you to do 1 through 35 odd. So they start down here with number 1. So that's a quick overview of the eText. It's a pretty good eText. So let me come back to the course home page and look over here. I've shown you where you can find the weekly announcements. So every Sunday morning I will post the weekly announcement for the upcoming week. Course information tab. This is where, really important documents. So print out and have a hard copy of the syllabus, the academic calendar, protocol for sending email, and the homework to practice exercises you should be doing at the end of each section. Also note the syllabus has something important in it. Here's where your online quizzes are. Gradebook, you always know what your grade is. Test preparation tabs, and this is where you'll find the eText. One more thing about the gradebook. Again, the only thing that determines your grade are the online quizzes, the tests, and the final exam. No homework is collected. You might run across these things called reading assignments. You do not have to do those. I have laid out everything you need to do in order to be successful in this course. So that's it for this quick overview of my math lab and how to get started with my math lab. So at this point in time, you should be ready to get started in learning trigonometry. Thanks for watching.